Hello, let's continue the discussion of kinds of test. First one is cognitive walkthroughs now. Description here is reviews of the interface in the context of task user performs. Advantages: allow a clear evaluation of the task flow early in the design process, do not require a functioning prototype, low cost, can be used to evaluate alternate solutions, can be performed by developers, more structured than a heuristic evaluation, useful for assessing exploratory learning. The disadvantages are tedious to perform, various inconsistencies are general and recurring problems. Guidelines needed to conduct a walkthrough are a general description of proposed system users and what relevant knowledge they possess, a specific description of one or more core or representative tasks to be performed, a list of the correct actions required to complete each of the tasks, review several core or representative tasks across a range of functions, proposed task of particular concern, developers must be assigned roles of scribe to record results of the action, facilitator to keep the evaluation moving, start with simple task, don't get bogged down demanding solutions, limit session to 60 to 90 minutes. Description in detail here is: in a cognitive walkthrough, developers walk through an interface in the context of representative user task. Individual task actions are examined and the evaluators try to establish logical reason why the user would perform each examined action. Actions are compared to the user's goals and knowledge. Discrepancies and problems are noted and analyzed and the task modified as necessary. Walkthroughs require that the task definition and methodology must have been properly accomplished in the system requirements stage. The user goals and assumptions must also be clearly defined before the walkthrough is performed. Advantages: walkthroughs permit a clear evaluation of the task flow early in the design process before empirical user testing is possible. The earlier a design flaw can be detected, the easier it is to fix it. They can also be used to evaluate alternate design solutions. Walkthroughs are of low cost and can be performed by developers. They are also more structured than heuristic evaluation, being less likely to suffer from subjectivity because of the emphasis on user task. Walkthroughs are very useful for assessing exploratory learning, first-time use of a system without formal training. Disadvantages: a cognitive walkthrough is tedious to perform and it may miss inconsistencies and general and recurring problems. Guidelines here are: needed to conduct the walkthrough or a general description of proposed system users and what relevant knowledge they possess, a specific description of one or more core or representative task to be performed and a listing of the correct actions required to complete each of the tasks. The walkthrough should review several core or representative tasks across a range of functions as well as proposed tasks of particular concern to the developers. Start with simple tasks to get brain juices flowing. Don't get bogged down looking for solutions to problems. Avoid detailed screen designs. They often inhibit assessment of the big picture. Limit a session to 60 to 90 minutes. Now there is one more kind of test: think aloud evaluations. Users perform specific tasks while thinking out loud. Comments are recorded and analyzed. The advantages are: utilizes actual representative tasks, provides insights into the user's reasoning. Disadvantages: may be difficult to get users to think out loud. Guidelines: develop several core or representative task of particular concern, limit session to 60 to 90 minutes. Description: the think aloud evaluation, users perform specific task while thinking out loud. The objective is to get the user to talk continuously. All comments are recorded so all thoughts are captured and trouble points are not missed when analysis occurs. Advantages: this kind of evaluation utilizes actual representative tasks, valuable insights into why the user does things are obtained. Disadvantages: it may be difficult to get all people to think out loud. Guidelines: develop core or representative task scenarios or scenarios of proposed tasks of particular concern. Limit a session to 60 to 90 minutes. Usability test is one more. An interface evaluation under real world or control conditions measure measures of performance are derived for specific tasks. Problems are identified, advantages are utilizes an actual work environment, identifies serious or recurring problems. Disadvantages now: high cost for establishing facility, requires a test conductor with the user interface expertise, emphasizes first-time system usage, poorly suited for detecting inconsistency problems. A usability test evaluates an interface under real-world or controlled conditions. Specific tasks are performed by users, measures of performance taken, and the results compared with the previously defined performance goals. Evaluators also gather data on problems that arise. Errors, confusion, frustrations, and complaints can be noted and discussed with the user. It is also useful to have the user talk aloud about what he or she is doing. Failure to meet these usability design objectives will indicate that redesign is necessary. Advantages are: usability tests incorporate a realistic work environment. Tasks are performed in an actual work setting, either a usability laboratory or another controlled setting. A usability test can identify serious or recurring problems, avoiding low priority items. Disadvantages are: its most serious problem is the high cost associated with establishing a facility to perform testing. To effectively perform usability test also requires a test conductor with a user interface expertise. Usability test also emphasizes first-time or early system use, collecting little data concerning use of a system by experienced system users. These tests are also poorly suited to detecting problems with inconsistency. Now there are some classic experiments. An objective comparison of two or more prototypes identical in all aspects except for one design issue. Advantages are: objective measures of performance are obtained, subjective measures of user satisfaction may be obtained. Disadvantages are: require rigorously controlled experiment to conduct the evaluation. The experiment conductor must have expertise in setting up, running and analyzing the data collected. Requires creation of multiple prototypes. Guidelines: state a clear and testable hypothesis. Specify small number of independent variables to be manipulated. Carefully choose the measurement. Judiciously select study participants and carefully for or randomly assign them to groups. Control for biasing factors. Collect the data in a controlled environment. Apply statistical methods to data analysis. Resolve the problem that led to conducting the experiment. Description here is: when two or more design alternatives exist, either of which may appear possible, a classic experiment may be developed to compare them directly. Two or more prototypes are constructed identical in all aspects except for the design issue, type of control, wording of an instruction, and so forth. Speed and accuracy measures are collected and the user performs solicited. Advantages are: objective measures of performance and subjective measures of user satisfaction are obtained, thereby permitting a better informed selection of the best alternative. Disadvantages are: a rigorously controlled environment and experimental environment is required to conduct the evaluation. The experiment conductor must have expertise in setting up, running and analyzing the data collected. Multiple prototypes reflecting the design issues must also be created. Guideline: general steps to be followed in conducting an experiment are the following. First, state a clear and testable hypothesis. Screen background color will affect screen readability. Specify a small number of independent variables to be manipulated. 5 screen background colors. Carefully choose the measurement, screen reading time and reading errors. Judiciously select study participants and carefully or randomly assign them to groups. Ascertain reading speeds and equalize mean speeds for groups. Control for biasing factors to ensure that the same monitor is used for all experimental sessions. Collect the data in a controlled environment within a usability laboratory. Apply statistical methods to data analysis and resolve the problems that led to conducting the experiment. Choose the best screen background color for the system. There is one more kind of test: focus groups. Discussion with the users about interface design, prototypes or tasks. Advantages: useful for obtaining initial user thoughts, trying out ideas, easy to set up and run, low cost also. Disadvantages are: requires experienced moderator, not useful for establishing how people really work, what kinds of usability problems people have, guidelines, restrict group size to 8 to 12, limit to 90 to 120 minutes in length, record sessions for later detailed analysis. Description here in detail is: in a focus group, a small group of knowledgeable users and a moderator are brought together to discuss an interface design prototype or proposed design task. The discussion is loosely structured but must be focused on a specific topic or topics. Advantages are: a focus group is useful method for obtaining initial thoughts or trying out ideas. They are easy to set up and run and have a fairly low cost. Disadvantages are: focus groups do require an experienced moderator. Also, they are not useful for establishing how people really work and what kinds of usability problems people have. Guidelines: a focus group should be restricted in size to 8 to 12 people. An individual session should consume no more than 90 to 120 minutes. Recording of the session either by video or audio will permit later detailed analysis of participants' comments. The recording can also be played for the entire design team, again providing insights into user needs for all developers. Choosing a testing method. Unfortunately, there is a little published detailed advice on which test to use, when to use them, and which test work best. Dear Anadenko and Shear suggest a good pairing is cognitive walkthroughs followed by think aloud evaluations. Using cognitive walkthroughs early in the development process permits the identification and correction of the most serious problems. Later, when a functioning prototype is available, the remaining problems can be identified using a think aloud evaluation. A substantial leap forward in the testing process would be the creation of a software tool simulating the behavior of a people. This will allow usability tests to be performed without requiring real users to perform the necessary task. One such example is a system described by Ormap and Hiras called Executive Process Interactive Control (EPIC). Formal evaluations by a tool such as this have the potential to greatly improve the quality of many user interfaces. In conclusion, each testing method has strengths and weaknesses. A well-rounded testing program will use a combination of some or all of these methods to guarantee the usability of its created product. It is very important that testing start as early as possible in the design process and continue through all developmental stages. Thank you for watching.